The station vigilance shook again as another blast hit its outer shields. Warning sirens screamed through every corridor. Red lights blinked and the sound of rushing air filled the room. Sergeant Auric grabbed the nearest handrail as the floor trembled beneath his boots. "Shields are dropping," he shouted. "We have to move now." Dr. Lyra Cade stood beside the glowing crystal, still calm despite the chaos. Her hair fell across her face as she stared at the pod's soft blue light. "No," she said firmly. "If we leave it, they'll destroy everything. I need to stabilize the energy before they breach the hull." Auric couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Lyra, you don't understand. Those ships out there aren't friendly. They'll turn this place into dust." Lyra finally looked at him. "And if they do, humanity loses the one thing that might explain why we even matter to them. This is bigger than the station, Sergeant. It's bigger than you and me." Her words hung in the air, cutting through the noise. Auric clenched his jaw. He wanted to argue, but something about her eyes stopped him. The fierce determination, the same kind he'd seen in soldiers who refused to retreat, even when the odds were impossible. "Fine," he said at last. "But you've got 2 minutes. After that, we run." Lyra nodded and turned back to the console. Her fingers moved quickly across the holographic display, lines of data flickering around her. The crystal pulsed faster, matching the rhythm of her heartbeat. Outside the reinforced window, Auric could see the alien fleet forming a tight formation. Their ships were sleek and silver, moving with perfect precision. He had seen alien designs before, but these were different, quiet, almost elegant, like predators waiting for a signal to strike. The communicator on his arm buzzed again. "This is command," said a tense voice. "Sergeant Auric, report." "Are you still with Dr. Cade? Alien ships are locking onto your sector. We're preparing evacuation pods." Auric opened his mouth, but Lyra cut him off. "Tell them to wait," she said. "If they fire the escape pods, they'll trigger the fleet's sensors. We have one chance to talk before they attack." "Talk?" Auric repeated in disbelief. "You want to talk to them?" "Yes," Lyra said, her voice steady. "That's why they're here." The crystal flared suddenly, throwing blue light across the room. A low hum filled the air, deep, steady, almost like a heartbeat. The station's power flickered and Auric's communicator went silent. Lyra stepped closer to the containment pod. "It's ready," she whispered. "The crystal's energy is synchronizing with the alien signals." Before Auric could respond, the lights in the lab dimmed completely. A beam of blue light shot upward from the crystal, filling the room. The air shimmered and a figure began to form. The same glowing face Auric had seen before, only now clearer. It was neither male nor female, its features shifting like waves of light. The voice came again, deep and echoing. "You have awakened what was hidden. The Watchers have come." Lyra stared in awe. "Who are you?" she asked softly. "What are you trying to tell us?" The figure's eyes turned toward her. "You call yourselves humans," it said slowly. "Fragments of what we once were." Auric frowned. "What does that mean?" The light turned brighter. "Long ago, we searched for a way to survive. We broke ourselves apart, sent our essence into the void, hoping one day it would grow again. Your kind are the result." Lyra's eyes widened. "You're saying humans are descended from you?" The voice pulsed. "You carry our spark, but not our memory. We built you to endure what we could not." Auric shook his head. "That's impossible. Humanity evolved on Earth. We have fossils, history." "History," the voice interrupted, "is what remains when truth is forgotten." The ground shook again as another blast rocked the outer hull. Auric looked out the window. The alien ships were firing warning shots now. They weren't aiming to destroy, only to force a reaction. Lyra spoke quickly. "If we are your descendants, why are they attacking us?" The figure's form began to waver. "They fear what you have become. You were meant to inherit our knowledge, not our hunger. You spread too fast. You build without balance. They see in you the same mistake that ended us." Auric stepped forward. "Then why come here? To destroy us before we destroy you?" The figure flickered again. "No, to remember." The light expanded, filling the room. For a moment, Auric felt weightless. Images flashed before his eyes. Strange worlds, massive cities of crystal, beings made of pure energy. Then darkness. When the light faded, the crystal dimmed again and Lyra collapsed to her knees, gasping. Auric knelt beside her. "Lyra, are you all right?" She nodded weakly. "I saw it too. Everything. Their civilization. Their fall. They weren't gods or monsters. They were just like us, brilliant, desperate, afraid. Outside, the alien fleet began to move again, but this time not to attack. The ships rearranged themselves into a vast ring formation, surrounding the station. A beam of golden light extended from the lead ship, connecting directly to the containment pod. Aric's communicator crackled back to life. Command to Aric. What's happening out there? The fleet's energy signature just changed, and it's not weapons fire. Lyra stood up slowly. They're scanning for confirmation. They're checking if the crystal and if I succeeded. What do you mean? Aric asked. Lyra hesitated. Before you arrived, I interfaced part of my neural data with the crystal. It's linked to me now. If they find resonance between my signal and theirs, they'll know the ancient seed survived through humanity. Aric stared at her. You connected yourself to alien tech? You could have fried your brain. Lyra gave a tired smile. Maybe, but it worked. The room filled with light again as the alien beam grew stronger. Then just as suddenly everything went quiet. The light faded, the beam vanished, and the alien ships began to drift away. Aric blinked in confusion. They're leaving? Lyra watched the ships on the screen. No, she whispered. They're retreating. They got what they came for. Aric exhaled slowly, his heart still pounding. So it's over? Lyra didn't answer right away. She turned back to the crystal. The glow inside was fading, almost dying. She placed her hand against the glass. It's weakening. The connection drained it. But before it faded, it left something behind. What do you mean? Lyra stepped back and pointed to the console. A new file had appeared on the main display. Lines of code written in both human and alien symbols. It's a message, she said softly. A translation key. For something larger, maybe a way to understand their technology. Or maybe, she looked at Aric, a way to finish what they started. Aric folded his arms. Command won't like this. They'll want to shut it down. Lyra smiled faintly. They can try. But the moment that crystal made contact, the signal spread across every frequency we use. It's already out there, in every relay, every satellite, every ship. Aric's eyes widened. You're saying you broadcast it? Not intentionally, she said. But yes, humanity has just been introduced to its real ancestors. Outside the window, the last of the alien ships vanished into hyperspace. The stars returned, calm and silent once more. The alarm stopped, leaving only the faint hum of the station systems. Aric looked at Lyra. So, what now? Lyra smiled again, that same mysterious smile from before. Now, she said, and we wait. They called us incomplete. Maybe they're coming back to see if we can prove them wrong. She turned toward the pod one last time, whispering, You wanted to know what I was hiding, Sergeant. The truth is I wasn't hiding from them, she met his gaze. I was hiding us from what we might become. Aric stood in silence, feeling both awe and unease. He didn't know whether to feel proud or afraid. Humanity wasn't just another species anymore. They were part of something older, something that once tried to shape the universe itself. And now that legacy was awake again. 3 weeks had passed since the alien fleet vanished beyond the stars, leaving the orbital station Vigilance floating quietly above the blue arc of Earth. On the surface, everything seemed peaceful, but beneath that calm, the entire human network buzzed with one question. What was the signal? Across every colony, research lab, and starship, strange patterns of light had begun to appear in their systems. The alien code that Lyra's crystal released was spreading, rewriting human machines in small, mysterious ways. At first, Command tried to erase it. They called it a security breach, claiming it was a danger to all human networks. But the code wasn't something they could delete. Every time they purged it, it reappeared somewhere else. In communications, power grids, even children's hologame devices. It was alive. On Vigilance, Dr. Lyra Cade watched it happen through her console. The alien crystal now sat dark and silent inside its pod, its glow gone. Yet its influence was everywhere. Data streams formed patterns that resembled stars, as if the crystal had mapped the entire galaxy through the network. Sergeant Aric entered the lab quietly. He looked tired, his uniform creased and worn. Command wants an update, he said. They're nervous. Half our satellites started transmitting in alien code last night. Lyra didn't look away from the screen. That means it's working, Auric frowned. Working? You call this working? Earth's main AI nearly shut down this morning trying to translate it. Lyra smiled faintly. That's not a failure. That's evolution. He stared at her. You sound just like the crystal. Maybe that's the point, she said softly. Auric sighed and leaned against a console. Command doesn't see it that way. They want you to stop the spread. Lyra finally turned to face him. Stop it? Auric, this is the first time humanity has touched something truly alien. Something connected to what we are. We can't stop it now. We can only understand it. Auric crossed his arms. And if understanding it destroys us? Lyra's expression softened. Then at least we'll know what we were meant to be. He shook his head, frustrated. You're playing with something we don't understand. You said yourself, we're their descendants, fragments of what they once were. What if this code is meant to rebuild us? Lyra's eyes lit up. Exactly. That's why it matters. Before Auric could respond, the lab lights flickered. Every monitor turned black, then displayed a single glowing symbol. A spiral of stars forming around a bright center. Lyra's heart skipped a beat. It's happening again. A deep hum filled the room. The crystal, which had been dead for days, began to glow faintly. The light was different this time, golden instead of blue. The walls trembled as a soft vibration passed through the entire station. Auric reached for his communicator. Control, this is Sergeant Auric. We're experiencing another... He stopped mid-sentence. The communicator melted into static, then went silent. Communications down, Lyra said. It's isolating us again. Auric moved toward the containment pod. Lyra, what's it doing? The golden light grew brighter until it filled the room. Then, just like before, a shape began to form within it. But this time it wasn't a face. It was a symbol made of energy, hovering above the pod. A double helix of light twisting like DNA. Lyra's voice trembled with awe. It's a genetic key, Auric stared. A what? The signal isn't just data, Lyra explained. It's rewriting biological code. It's trying to wake something that's already inside us. He stepped back in disbelief. Inside us? Lyra nodded. The crystal said humans were made from their essence, fragments of them. That means part of their design is already in our DNA. The signal is triggering it. Suddenly, the golden light spread out from the lab like a wave, moving through the station's walls. Outside, the stars seemed to shimmer as if responding to it. Auric could see it through the viewport, the same spiral pattern forming in the sky. Across the earth below, millions of tiny golden lights began appearing in the clouds, swirling like constellations reborn. The whole planet was glowing, Auric whispered. What have you done? Lyra didn't answer. She was staring at her hand. Tiny streams of light ran across her skin like living veins of energy. It's activating, she said quietly. The signal isn't just communication. It's memory, Auric grabbed her shoulder. Lyra, stop. You don't know what it's doing to you. But Lyra didn't pull away. She looked up at him, her eyes glowing faint gold. I can see them, Auric, the ones who came before us. They built us to continue their journey, to find what they lost. Auric's grip loosened. And what did they lose? Themselves, she whispered. The lights across the station pulsed once more, and a voice filled the air. Calm, ancient, echoing from everywhere at once. Humanity. The cycle begins again. Remember who you are. Every screen on the station displayed the same words. Across human space, every communication network repeated the message. For a long moment, silence followed. Then slowly the light faded. The glow left Lyra's skin. The crystal turned dim once more. Auric exhaled shakily. Is it over? Lyra looked around, her eyes distant. No, it's only beginning. Outside, the spiral pattern in the sky shifted, transforming into a map. Dozens of glowing points marked across the stars, each representing a location unknown to any human chart. Lyra turned to Auric. Coordinates, she said. It's showing us where they went. Auric blinked. You mean the lost colonies? The places that vanished? Not just colonies, Lyra said softly. Other fragments of them. Other civilizations they started like us. We were never alone, Auric. We were just one of many seeds scattered across the galaxy. Auric stared out the window, his mind spinning, and now the signal woke all of them. Lyra nodded. Yes, they'll be coming too, the others like us. Maybe to learn, maybe to judge, but whatever happens next, humanity has already changed. For the next few hours, the station remained quiet. But every scientist and soldier aboard knew something had shifted, not just in their machines, but in themselves. When the communication lines finally reconnected with Earth, Command demanded answers. "Dr. Cade, what have you done to our systems?" An officer shouted through the comlink. Lyra stood calmly before the camera. "We didn't destroy anything," she said. "We just opened a door that was always there. Then close it." The officer barked. Lyra smiled faintly. "You can't close evolution." The screen went dark. Arik stepped beside her, watching the stars. "You know they'll come for you, right?" Lyra nodded. "Probably. But by the time they do, it won't matter. The signal is everywhere now. It's in every human system, every neural net, every heartbeat connected to a machine. It's rewriting us little by little, not to change who we are, but to remind us what we could be." Arik looked out at the glowing map, still faintly visible beyond the glass. "So what do we do now?" Lyra smiled. "We follow the map. That's what explorers do." She placed her hand on the window, her reflection blending with the stars. "You wanted to know what I was hiding," she said softly. "Now you know," Arik chuckled dryly. "You were hiding the next stage of humanity." "Not hiding," Lyra said. "Protecting, until we were ready." The hum of the station grew steadier as systems came back online. Outside, the stars seemed closer, brighter, as if the universe itself had taken a breath after a long silence. Lyra turned toward the console and saved the coordinates. "We'll need a ship. A small one. Something fast," Arik raised an eyebrow. "You're serious? You're really going after them?" Lyra smiled. "Of course. Someone has to say hello to our family." For a moment, Arik just stood there, torn between duty and the pull of something far greater. Finally, he nodded. "All right, Doctor. Let's go see what we're made of." As the engines of Vigilance shifted power to launch the small exploration craft, the final remnants of the alien crystal pulsed once more, like a heartbeat saying goodbye. And far beyond human space, in the dark between galaxies, other lights began to shine. Answers to the signal, voices long silent, calling back across the void. Humanity had spoken to the stars, and this time the stars answered. Captain Ilara Voss stood on the bridge of the Aurelian's Grace, her hands clasped behind her back. The hum of the engines was steady, almost comforting, and the vastness of space stretched endlessly before her. She had served in the Galactic Union for 10 years. Among thousands of alien races connected by thought and telepathy, she was one of the few humans, a species known for their strange silence. Other beings could speak mind to mind, but humans could not. The Union called them mind-blind. Some even called them deaf to truth. Ilara didn't mind the insults anymore. She had learned long ago that silence was not weakness. It was armor. Around her, the alien crew of the Aurelian's Grace worked with quiet precision. They didn't speak with voices. Their communication passed through invisible psychic threads that Ilara couldn't hear. She had learned to read their gestures, the twitch of an eye, or the shift of color in their bioluminescent skin. Still, she often felt alone among them, like a ghost on her own bridge. Lieutenant Terrell, a tall insectoid creature with shimmering carapace, turned toward her. His voice came through the translator. "Captain Voss, we are approaching the Viren Rift. The readings are unstable." Ilara nodded. "Drop to half speed. Let's see what's causing the interference." As the ship neared the rift, the lights flickered. Strange waves of energy rippled across the sensors. It looked like a storm, but there was no weather in deep space. Then the telepaths began to shiver. Trell clutched his head. "Something is speaking," he hissed. His mandibles trembled. Across the bridge, others staggered, their faces twisting in pain. Ilara rushed forward. "Medical team, get to the bridge." But no one answered. The entire crew was collapsing one by one, eyes glowing faintly blue as if lightning burned behind them. Only Ilara stood untouched, her heart raced. "Computer, isolate the source of the signal." Unable to comply, the AI replied. "Interference detected in all systems." Then she heard it, not with her ears but deep inside her thoughts. A whisper. "Can you hear me?" Ilara froze. She looked around the empty bridge, her reflection staring back from the dark glass. "Who's there?" she demanded aloud. The whisper faded. She ran to the medbay. Most of her crew lay unconscious, some twitching as if trapped in a dream. Only one alien was still awake, a young researcher named Kithra. She was from the Ilari, a species known for their powerful telepathic abilities. Kethra's silver skin glowed faintly under the medbay lights. Her eyes flickered between blue and white as she struggled to focus. "Captain, it's inside my head," Kethra whispered weakly. "The storm. It's alive." Alara knelt beside her. "Alive? What do you mean?" Kethra pressed her palms to her temples. "It's not a storm. It's a voice. It's trying to talk to us. To me. To you. To me." Alara frowned. "That's impossible. Humans can't be part of telepathic contact." Kethra gave a faint smile. "And yet, I can hear you." Alara felt a chill run through her spine. "You can hear me?" "I haven't said anything." Kethra's smile grew wider, soft but strange. "Say it," she said with a smile. "I can hear what you're too afraid to admit." Alara stepped back, startled. Her hands trembled. "What are you talking about?" Kethra's eyes turned bright white. "You think your silence keeps you safe, but it hides something else, something powerful." Before Alara could respond, the ship shuddered violently. The lights dimmed. A massive wave of psychic energy passed through the hull. The instrument screamed with static. Alara grabbed the console. "Computer, emergency shutdown of all psychic relays." "Command confirmed," the AI replied. The noise faded slightly, but the storm outside raged brighter, glowing with blue and violet energy. Kethra gasped. "It's calling again." The same words. Over and over. Alara leaned closer. "What is it saying?" Kethra's voice broke into a whisper. "The silence of your kind hides the key." Ilara's breath caught. "My kind, humans?" Kethra nodded weakly. "Yes, it's speaking in your frequency. It's not attacking us. It's reaching for you." Alara stared out the medbay window. Beyond the hull, the rift looked like a living storm, swirling tendrils of light twisting in the dark. It pulsed as if watching her. For the first time in years, Alara felt something stir inside her. Not fear and curiosity. "Why now?" she murmured. "What does it want from me?" Kethra tried to answer, but she fainted from exhaustion. The medical scanners flared, and Alara rushed to stabilize her. Her human hands, steady and calm, worked faster than the machines. Hours passed. The storm slowly faded. The psychic energy around the ship weakened, and the alien crew began to recover. But something inside the captain had changed. Later, in the quiet of her quarters, Alara sat at her desk replaying the data logs. The storm's frequency matched human brainwaves almost perfectly. That should have been impossible. She played Kethra's recorded voice again. "The silence of your kind hides the key." Alara leaned back, eyes fixed on the stars. "What key?" she whispered. Suddenly, her console flickered. The screen went dark, then filled with a pattern of shifting light. It wasn't letters or symbols. It was a pulse, a rhythm, da-da, da-da-da, da-da. Her eyes widened. It was Morse code, an ancient human communication system. She translated it slowly, one pulse at a time. "We remember." Alara's heartbeat quickened. "Who remembers?" she whispered. No answer came, but the console continued to glow softly. The next day, the ship returned to Union Command. Doctors examined Kethra and the others. They called it psychic resonance fatigue, a rare but temporary effect. The Telepathic Council ordered Alara to report the event for study. During the meeting, the alien delegates questioned her for hours. "The signal used human brainwave patterns," one of them said. "Captain, do you have any knowledge of telepathic evolution in your species?" Alara shook her head. "Humans have never had telepathy. We evolved differently. Yet you were the only one unaffected," another alien said. "You withstood direct psychic pressure that overwhelmed hundreds." "That is not normal." Alara met their gazes calmly. "Maybe silence is stronger than you think." The room fell quiet. Some looked uneasy. Others seemed curious. After the meeting, Kethra found her in the observation hall. Her skin still glowed faintly like moonlight through glass. "You're different," Kethra said softly. "When I was inside the storm, I felt warmth, not from the others. From you." Alara frowned. "I'm not special. I'm just human." Kethra shook her head. "No, you're quiet. And in that quiet, there is something hidden." Alara looked out at the stars again. "Do you think the storm will return?" Kethra hesitated. It wasn't a storm. It was a being. It was searching for something. Alara turned to her. "Searching for what?" Kethra's voice dropped to a whisper. "For the ones who cannot be heard." That night, Alara couldn't sleep. She kept hearing Kethra's words echo in her head. Say it. I can hear what you're too afraid to admit. She tried to push the memory away, but the voice in her mind whispered again, soft and human, but not her own. Silence saves. She sat up suddenly, cold sweat running down her neck. The stars outside flickered, and then for a brief moment she thought she saw shapes moving within the light. Something ancient was out there, and it was calling her name.